What is going on, guys? UFC 306 at the Sphere is here almost. Couple sleeps away, and I just want to go over like my prediction, my preview of the fight. I'm just going to do the last three fights, the main event, the co-main event, and the one prior to that. So Brian Ortega, Diego Lopes is the first fight I'm going to do, and then I'll do the next two after. First and foremost, guys, Brian Ortega, absolute roller coaster of a ride for this kid, coming in and just blitzing through the UFC, and then in the past 3 years he's had three fights: a loss to Volkanovski, a shoulder injury against Yair, and then he just arm triangled Yair in his last fight. Diego Lopes, on the other hand, blitzing through the UFC non-stop, active as hell. And his last fight, he was supposed to fight Brian Ortega. That fight fell through, and Danny, being the absolute legend that he is, stepped in on 4 hours notice, and he took that fight where Diego Lopes was able to get the decision, but it was a close fight. Now, a lot of people are writing off Brian Ortega, and this is a pick'em fight. When you look at the stats, it is a 145, not a pick'em fight, 145, 175. It is everyone leaning towards Diego Lopes, but I'm here to say that Brian Ortega, I think, is going to take this fight. Now, if 75, 80% of Brian Ortega comes into this fight prepared, I think he's going to take this bout. And I'll give you guys my reasons why. The greatest performance we've seen from Diego Lopes is not against Sadiq Youssef or Pat Sabatini or Gavin Tucker or all these guys that he's been able to finish, but it's been his first fight, his short notice fight, his debut in the UFC against Movsar Evloev, where he absolutely surprised Movsar and he gave him a run for his money. Movsar is absolutely legit. That being said, Diego Lopes is extremely hittable on the ground. I don't think he's going to have much to offer Brian Ortega unless he rocks him, which then it's anybody's game. But I think Ortega's ground game is better than Diego Lopes, and I think his boxing and his kicking overall is better. Now, Diego Lopes does have a 3-inch reach advantage, 3.5-inch reach advantage, and he is a bit taller, a couple inches taller, but he doesn't fight very long. He doesn't fight very tall. He gets in there, he puts his chin up, and he swings. He has power in his punches, but he doesn't have the best boxing, doesn't have the best kicking, doesn't have the best takedowns. I think Ortega is going to clip him with punches. I think Ortega is going to take this fight maybe by a decision, a back-and-forth decisions, 2 rounds to 1 for Ortega, or who knows, maybe Ortega gets a finish. I'm going to side with Ortega. I think a lot of people are writing him off. I think a lot of people are jumping on the Diego Lopes bandwagon, understandably so, but Ortega is not done. At least I'm hoping not. We'll see, though. So, Ortega, I have you for this fight. Next fight, one of the women's fights that I actually enjoy watching, Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. This is their third fight. In their first fight, Grasso was able to get the face crank finish. The second fight was a split draw, so Grasso was able to hold on to her title. And now this is, the rubber match, or not technically a rubber match. But Grasso is 31 years old. She is, she's in her prime. Maybe she hasn't even touched her prime yet. It's fairly close. Shevchenko is definitely out of her prime. She's 36, 37. Grasso is the much better boxer, much better grappler, in my opinion. Shevchenko, obviously, great kicks, great combinations, very strong, but she's extremely hittable. Her hands and her boxing are just not up to par with Grasso. I think Grasso is going to be able to pick her apart, maybe secure some takedowns, maybe get some back control. Who knows? Maybe she clips Shevchenko and gets the finish. But I'm going to side with Alexa Grasso getting a decision, a unanimous one at that. Probably a 49-46 sort of deal. And she's going to move on. I think the Mexican star is going to continue her surge. And the Kurg, former superstar, one of the greatest female fighters of all time, is going to take a step back and who knows, probably retire. Last fight on the card, guys. Another pick'em fight, Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Merab's on a 10-fight win streak, wins over Cejudo, Aldo. He's done it all. Peter Yan, and his Cejudo fight. How are you going to pick up an Olympic champion, a gold medalist, carry him across the cage while talking to Zuckerberg? How are you going to do him that dirty? Merab did it, though, and the guy's pace is insane. 50 takedowns against Peter Yan. The only person he couldn't do Jack blank 2 was Aldo, because Aldo's a G and nobody could really do anything to him unless your name is, Max Holloway or Prime Connor. But I think Merab's going to get chinned. I think he's going to walk into a punch third round. I think O'Malley's going to measure him up. Even though O'Malley's resume, when you look at it, is not as stacked as Merab's. Sean's beat Jan in a controversial one. A lot of people thought Jan was going to win. He absolutely schooled the no ability, no technical ability, all durability Marlon Vera. And he chinned Merab's best friend, his boy toy, Aljo. So I think Sean O'Malley's going to chin Merab as well. I think he'll come in the third round. First 2 rounds will be back and forth. I think Merab will attempt as many takedowns as humanly possible. Sean O'Malley's going to get maybe taken down once or twice, but get right back up. I don't think there's going to be much on the way of the grappling success for Merab. Sean's going to be able to get 2-on-1s, get on the cage, hand fight immediately, like Leon Edwards used to before he met Bilal Muhammad. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if a guillotine happens, guys. I have that feeling, because O'Malley has a pretty slick guillotine. He has the long, slender arms which lean into that, and Merab loves stuffing his head in between people's armpits and on their hips. So that might be a case too. But it is a pick'em fight. I'm going to go with Sean O'Malley to retain his title and chin, Merab, and get rid of his 10-fight win streak. Sean O'Malley's my pick. Alexo Grasso and Brian Ortega. So I'm picking the 2 Mexicans and Sean O'Malley. I guess he's Irish, maybe. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think and who you have in these 3 fights.